Why reality responds to who you are being, not what you are trying to change. Most people wake up every day feeling like something in their life needs to change. They want more money, more peace, more freedom, more clarity, more love, and so they spend their days trying to fix things, fix habits, behavior, circumstances, fix the future. But what most people don't realize is that life doesn't respond to what you are trying to change. It responds to who you are being while you try. This is why so many people feel exhausted. They do everything they are told to do. They read the books, they watch the videos, they take the courses, they work harder, they try to think positively, and still their life feels strangely the same. Different details, same pattern. Different effort, same feeling. The problem is not lack of effort. The problem is that effort is happening on the wrong level. We live in a world that teaches us that change is something we force from the outside. Change your strategy, change your routine, change your mindset, change your environment. And while those things can help, they are never the real cause. They are expressions. The cause is always internal. Reality does not respond to what you want. It does not respond to what you hope for. It does not even respond to what you work for. Reality responds to identity, to the place inside you that feels normal, familiar, and true. Identity is not what you say about yourself. It is not your affirmations. It is not your goals, it is not your vision board. Identity is the position you return to when nothing is happening. It is how you interpret silence, how you experience waiting, how you speak to yourself when life doesn't immediately respond. That is the sign of reality listens to. You can want abundance and still live from scarcity. You can want love and still live from emotional defense. You can want freedom and still live from fear. And when that happens, reality mirrors that state, not the desire. This is why wanting something deeply does not guarantee you will experience. Desire alone has no creative power. Being does. Most people misunderstand this point. They think that if they desire something strongly enough or visualize it often enough, life will eventually reward them. But life is not responding to intensity. It is responding to consistency of state. Think about how this works in everyday life. A person who feels internally secure moves different in the world. They speak different, they wait different, they react different. They don't chase reassurance, they don't panic at silence, they don't collapse under uncertainty. Not because life is easier for them, but because their inner position is stable, and life responds to that stability. Now consider someone who feels internally is unsupported. Even if they receive help, it never feels like enough. Even when good things happen, they are waiting for the other shoe to drop. Even in calm moments, their body stays tense. Life keeps reflecting that state, not to punish them, but because that is the signal being transmitted. This is where most people get frustrated. They say, but I am trying so hard, and they are. But they are trying from the same identity that created the current reality. So effort only creates the pattern. Real change begins when identity shifts. And identity shifts not through force, but through inhabitation. You don't become someone new by trying to act like them. You become someone new by letting a different internal position become familiar, natural, normal. This is why lasting change often feels subtle at first. There is no dramatic moment, no fireworks, no instant proof. Instead, there's a quiet sense of I am not reacting the same way anymore. I am not panicking like I used to. I am not trying to control everything. That's identity changing. Most people miss this moment. They dismiss it as nothing, but that nothing is the foundation of everything. The world does not shift when you demand change. It shifts when you no longer occupy the old position, when the old reactions stop making sense, when the old stories lose their grip. This is also why change can feel uncomfortable. When identity begins to shift, the nervous system resists, not because something is wrong, but because familiarity is being challenged. The body prefers the known, even if the known is painful. So when we start to feel uneasy in moments of transition, it doesn't mean you are doing wrong. It means something deeper is reorganizing. Most people quite here, they interpret discomfort as failure. They go back to what feels familiar, and reality stays the same. But if you stay, if you don't rush back to old conclusions, something remarkable happens. The new state stabilizes, and once it stabilizes, life has no choice but to respond differently. You don't need to fight reality. You don't need to convince it. You don't need to prove anything. You only need to remain in the position you've chosen long enough for it to become natural. Reality is obedient, not to words, not to wishes, but to being. And this is the point where most people misunderstand patience. Patience is not waiting passively. Patience is not abandoning the new identity while the old reflections fade out. The delay is not denial, it's transition. If today your external world doesn't yet reflect the shift you feel inside, that doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means the cause has changed before the effect, and that is the only order in which real change ever happens. Modern life trains people to live in reaction. From the moment we wake up, we respond to notifications, deadlines, expectations, and demands. The nervous system is constantly activated, and when the nervous system is activated, identity contracts. People stop living from choice and start living from survival. This is why effort feels endless for so many. They are not acting from clarity, they are acting from pressure. They are not choosing change, they are trying to escape discomfort, and escape never creates a new life. Effort that comes from fear always recreates fear. Effort that comes from lack always reinforces lack, because effort carries information. It tells reality, what state you are living from. Think about how effortless effort feels in your body. When effort comes from survival, the body is tense, breathing is shallow, thoughts are urgent, attention is scattered. This is not a creative state, it is a defensive one. Defensive states are excellent at keeping you alive, but they are terrible at creating something new. This is one of the most misunderstood ideas about change. People think that if they just push harder, eventually they will break through. But pushing harder from the same internal position only deepens the groove. It makes the pattern more efficient, not different. This is why so many people burn out. They are not failing. They are being faithful to an identity built around effort. Now, here's the part that often surprises people. Letting go of effort does not mean doing nothing. It means changing the source of action. Action that comes from identity feels completely different. It is quieter, it is not urgent, it does not come with internal argument. You act because the action makes sense, not because you are afraid of what will happen if you don't. This is the difference between reaction and response. Reaction is automatic, response is aligned. Reaction repeats the past, response creates the future. Most people don't realize how deeply their identity is shaped by reaction. They believe they are choosing, but they are actually responding to old internal alarms. Fear of not having enough, fear of being left behind, fear of missing out, fear of not being chosen. As long as these alarms are running, effort will feel necessary. And as long as effort feels necessary, identity does not change. This is why slowing down is so uncomfortable for many people. Slowing down exposes the internal state. It removes distraction. It brings awareness to the place inside that has been driving behavior all along. Most people avoid this moment. They feel silence with noise, they feel uncertainty with action, they feel discomfort with distraction, and then identity remains untouched. Real change requires something different. It requires staying present with the internal position long enough to see it clearly, not to judge it, not to fix it, just to recognize it. Awareness itself begins to loosen identity. When you see a pattern clearly, it loses its authority. You are no longer inside it, you are observing it. This is why awareness is more powerful than willpower. Willpower fights behavior. Awareness dissolves the need for behavior. Here's an example. Someone who identifies as behind in life feels constant urgency. They rush decisions, they compare themselves constantly, they feel pressure to catch up. Even when opportunities appear, they choose from anxiety, and anxiety always shortens perspective. Now imagine that same person no longer identify as behind. Nothing else changes immediately, but their inner time shifts. They no longer rush, they no longer grab, they no longer panic. Opportunities don't disappear, they reorganize. This is how identity changes outcomes without force. A person who identifies as unsupported tries to do everything alone. They overfunction, they don't ask for help, they don't trust collaboration. Even when support appears, they don't feel it. Life mirrors that independence with isolation. When identity shifts to supported, behavior changes naturally. They receive more, they allow more, they notice help that was always there. And life reflects that openness. None of this requires effort. It requires permission. This is where many people struggle. Permission feels dangerous when identity is built around control. Letting go of effort feels like risking collapse. But collapse only happens when identity has nothing else to stand on. When identity shifts, effort becomes optional. You can still act, you can still plan, you can still move, but action no longer carries desperation. This is why creates easy, not the absence of action, but the absence of resistance. The world responds very different to a person who is not trying to prove anything. There is less friction, less delay, less struggle, not because the world is kinder, but because the signal is clearer. Identity is a signal, and life is always listening. This also explains why forcing positive does not work. Positive thoughts without identity shift become another form of effort. They exhausted the mind and irritate the nervous system. Real inner change feels neutral before it feels good. It feels calm before it feels exciting. It feels steady before it feels joyful. This neutrality is not emptiness, it is stability. And stability is deeply attractive to reality. When you stop trying to change life and start living from a different place inside, life reorganizes quietly, without drama, without announcements, without permissions. This is why the most profound changes often look invisible at first, but they are irreversible. The most important question is not what do I want to change my life? The most important question is from where am I living right now? Because the place you live from internally is the place reality keeps responding to. Most people don't recognize their internal position because it feels familiar. It feels like me, but identity is not who you are. It is who you learn to be. You can recognize your current internal position by noticing a few simple things, not your big decisions, your small automatic ones. Notice how you respond when plans change unexpectedly. Do you tense up? Do you rush to regain control? Do you immediately imagine worst-case scenarios? That reaction reveals a state. Notice how you feel when nothing is happening, not when things go wrong, when things are simply quiet? Do you feel restless? Do you feel uneasy? Do you feel like something is missing? Silence reveals identity. Notice how you speak to yourself when you make a mistake. Is there patience or urgency or harshness? That voice is not random. It is the sound of identity speaking. Most people try to change these reactions by correcting behavior. They tell themselves to calm down, to be patient, to think positively, but reaction is not the problem. Reaction is the symptom. Identity does not change because you see reaction without immediately obeying it. This moment of seeing is where freedom begins. When you can notice a reaction without becoming it, you are no longer fully identified with the state. At first, this feels uncomfortable. There is a gap, a space between stimulus and response. That space can feel empty, uncertainty, even scary. Many people rush to fill that space. They distract themselves, they explain, analyze, act, but that space is where identity loosens. Staying in that space without rushing to fix it is one of the most powerful things you can do. Not forever, just long enough to let the nervous system realize that nothing bad is happening. This is how the identity shifts, not by force, by safety. The nervous system does not change because you argue with it. It changes because it experiences a new pattern without danger. For example, when you don't immediately react to silence and nothing collapses, the body learns something new. When you don't rush to control outcomes and things still work out, the body learns something new. These small moments are more important than visualizations. They are lived proof. This is why everyday life is the real practice, not meditation alone, not affirmation alone, life. Consider how this looks practically. You send a message and don't receive a reply. Old identity interprets this as rejection. New identity notices the sensation and does not conclude. No story, no spiral, just presence. You apply for something and don't hear back immediately. Old identity fills the gap with fear and self-doubt. New identity remains neutral, not hopeful, not pessimist, neutral. Neutrality is not indifference, it is openness. Most people underestimate neutrality. They think they need to feel confident or excited to be in the right state. They don't. They only need to stop feeding the old story. This is where patience comes in. Patience is not waiting passively. Patience is not adding meaning to quiet. Meaning is powerful. Whatever meaning you assign becomes identity, and identity becomes outcome. So when you stop assigning meaning automatically, you interrupt the pattern. This is also where compassion matters. Identity does not shift in a hostile environment. If you attack yourself for reacting, you reinforce the old state. Gentleness is not weakness, it is the condition for reorganization. Think of identity like a room you've lived in for years. You don't leave it overnight. You slowly bring new furniture. You remove old things, you change the lighting. Eventually, it doesn't feel like the same room anymore. Trying to force identity change is like tearing down the house while you are still living inside it. It creates chaos. Sustainable change is quiet, subtle, almost boring, and deeply effective. This is why people sometimes say, I don't know when things change, but they did. That's identity at work. Once identity shifts, behavior follows effortlessly. You don't have to remain yourself. This is also why people often feel strange right before things change externally. The old identity no longer fits, the new one is fully familiar yet. There is a liminal space, but most people panic in this space. They try to go back, but going back only restores the old reflection. If you stay, the new state stabilizes, and once stabilized, the external world catches up. Reality is always catching up, it is never ahead. You don't need to rush outcomes, you need to stay consistent internally. Consistency is not perfection, it is non-abandonment. You don't abandon the new new position because of a bad day. You don't abandon because of temporary doubt. You don't abandon because life is quiet. Identity strengthens when you remain despite uncertainty. This is where trust is built, not blind trust, embodied trust. Trust is what allows you to live without constant monitoring, without checking, without measuring. And when you stop monitoring reality, you stop interfering with it. When identify stabilizes internally, something begins to change externally, often in ways you don't immediately connect to your inner work. This is important to understand. Reality rarely shifts in the way the mind expects. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't arrive with fireworks. It doesn't say this is the result of your inner change. It simply rearranges. People begin to respond to you differently. Conversations feel easier. Opportunities appear without struggle. Situations that once feel heavy start resolving with less effort. Not because you are doing more, but because you are no longer transmitting resistance.